Hey, welcome back to the CI Chit Chat. Lots of exciting things to talk about here today, so appreciate everyone jumping on. Things are continuing to move and shake, so exciting things, and we'll dig into it and get your questions answered as you have them. So toss those questions in the chat or in the Q&A function, and get as many questions answered as we can for you. For anyone that's new, we keep having a bunch of new followers, folks that are coming to this 45Z party. Welcome. We've been working on this for 3.5 years since 45Z was first passed into law, which happened with the Inflation Reduction Act. So this program, it's been the law of the land for almost 3.5 years, August of 2023, or August of 2022, excuse me. And 45Z is a tax credit that goes to transportation biofuel producers. So the money goes to producers of ethanol, biodiesel, renewable diesel, renewable natural gas, sustainable aviation fuel, those kind of things. And part of lowering the CI score of those fuels is lowering the CI score of the feedstock that's being used. So, and CI is carbon intensity. You can basically think of it as the carbon footprint per bushel. The carbon footprint per bushel, which is then part of the carbon footprint of the total gallon of fuel. And as you lower the carbon footprint of the total gallon, tax credits can be earned. And what we are here to talk about as farmers and as producers of feedstocks for these biofuels is as we lower our CI score of the feedstock, that can be utilized to lower the CI score of the fuel. And we got the IRS rule here just 2 weeks ago that said directly in there that this connection is going to happen. And that's really what we've been needing clarity on for the last 3.5 years. There are a lot of ethanol plants that, or not a lot, but there's a solid chunk of the ethanol plants that are already monetizing 45Z tax credits. 45Z went into effect on January 1, 2025. So we are more than a full year into the implementation phase of 45Z. So for those biofuel producers in 2025, they calculated their CI score of their fuel, and they're able to claim 45Z credits for their 2025 fuel production. Most of those claims are not, well, all of those claims right now are not based on integrating, all those claims are not based on integrating farmers or integrating low CI feedstock. The claims that are being made and making headlines today are based on doing carbon capture, being associated with a carbon pipeline, using renewable energy credits or combined heat and power or other practices that lower the CI score of the fuel. That's what these companies are making claims on today. We know that the farmers will have a seat at the table. The IRS cleared that up, but we are still waiting for some of those final details, and I've got some insights to share on that here today. So we know that farmers will have a seat at the table. Now we need some of the final details. What the IRS said is that there's going to be a new feedstock calculator called the 45Z CF FDCIC. That's the name of the calculator. It's not been released yet. It will be released by the Department of Energy, and USDA is helping in the effort. 45Z CF FDCIC stands for 45Z Clean Fuels Feedstock Carbon Intensity Calculator. Okay, it doesn't matter, but it's just educating everyone here. But that 45Z CF FDCIC, that's what we need to be able to know exactly which practices are included and know exactly how much CI reduction you will earn for implementing that practice. So currently we have the GREET FDCIC, which was developed by the Department of Energy. So now we're waiting for this kind of basically a special rendition of that calculator that'll be utilized for the 45Z program. Now, the Department of Energy also has what's called the 45Z CF GREET model. And so that 45Z CF GREET is utilized at the ethanol plants. That's where they get the score reductions for having carbon capture, renewable energy credits, other on-premises or energy reducing efforts. So they already have the 45Z CF GREET. Now we need the 45Z CF FDCIC to be linked in with it. And ultimately, Department of Energy is in charge of developing and launching both of those updated tools. They're not starting from scratch. The tools already exist. They just need to make the updates and get that pushed live. Now, the Department of Energy just updated their base model, which is called the R&D GREET model, so the Research and Development GREET model. So that's the underlying model that all these other special models are built on top of. The DOE just released a new version of their underlying model on December 23rd. So they just updated the new underlying model. Now they need to update the 45Z CF GREET and launch this new 45Z CF feedstock calculator to be associated with it. So things are moving. Yeah, I was out in D.C. last week, met with some folks at the USDA. They actually were on the emergency press conference and hit me up after that saying, hey, thanks for doing that press conference, learned a lot, and you mentioned that you're going to be in D.C. Do you want to meet up? And I'm like, yeah. So I went and had a great meeting at USDA with the right folks that are really, really involved in developing the rules that'll be associated with this new model. And ultimately, we know that USDA has a preliminary rule that was released over a year ago, and now they're updating that rule. It's called the Technical Guidelines for Biofuel CI Measurement, Reporting, Verification, something along those lines. It's the rules for quantifying and verifying the on-farm CI reductions. So specifically, I met with the key person that is overseeing that. And what I learned is amazing efforts are being made, but the holdup in all this is just because there's multiple departments that are involved, and it's kind of hurting the cats. So you have USDA that's updating the technical guidelines, the rules. You have DOE that's overseeing the calculator, and you have IRS that's overseeing the whole program because it's a tax credit. Then you've got the folks over at the White House as well, the Office of Management and Budget and the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs. They're all, have their hands in this thing, and they all need particulars to be met, and there's just a lot of back and forth that's going on there. So I know things are extremely close, and such that I was told that we will have the updated rules and updated calculator before planting. That could be really soon. It could be middle of April. They could be wrong, and maybe it's going to be more like May or June. I don't know. But I was told rules before planting, which would be awesome. Now, in those rules, right, is the big one is the book and claim or mass balance. And I tried to get the answer of which one is it going to be. And every time I really try to push into the details, right, I got hit with the correct answer, the politically correct answer, which is, hey, I can't discuss the details of a pending rule, which is the right thing. But I was trying. I was trying to get some insight for all of us because that one is really, really important to know. And I feel, so the original rule did say mass balance. I feel like there's a lot of movement and push towards book and claim, obviously from us and all of you, but also from the Renewable Fuels Association, which represents the ethanol plants, Growth Energy, the other major lobbying group that oversees, or a commodity organization that helps the ethanol plants, the corn growers, soybean growers, like all of these groups are pushing book and claim, and very few that are pushing for mass balance. So mass balance was in the original rule, but I hope that one of these maybe sticking points that's causing things to kind of face some hurdles, I hope that one of those sticking points is this need to convert to book and claim instead of being mass balance, but I don't know. So how we are approaching things today is like man, we're going to keep fighting for book and claim and hoping for that. But if you are delivering into biofuel directly, and if it, therefore, if it was mass balance, you'd be good to go. It is full speed ahead. Like, if you are already delivering crop into biofuel, whether it be through an elevator that delivers to biofuel or direct, either one's fine. But if you are getting into that biofuel supply chain, we know that you are sitting golden. It's the folks that are book and claim that we're still fighting like crazy to try to get a route there, and may have to be creative, but pushing really hard to try to get that to work. And I'm personally for my own farm, book and claim would be tremendously better. So it's not just me talking, like, this directly impacts my farm as well. I'm in a much better position as a farmer under book and claim versus mass balance, and so is the entirety of Washington County, Iowa, where I'm sitting, which is the number 2 pork producing county in the country. Like, book and claim is so much better, and that spans across the country. Book and claim is so much better. So we're trying, but I wasn't able to pry that out. But we should know here soon. Okay, so that's ultimately what it boils down to. Is it's coming to a head. We know that farmers have a seat at the table. We know that there's going to be a new calculator. We know that there's going to be these updated rules, and we know that they're coming soon. Now, when I pressed her on, hey, here's kind of what we're doing and the audit stuff that we do and the ISO verification stuff that we do, her response was, yeah, no, you guys are spot on with the approach and with what's going on. Like, and that was already laid out in the IRS rule as well, that each ethanol plant will have to be audited annually based on ISO 14065. That's the exact system that we are experts in and that we've designed our entire audit process for. So we're just full speed ahead on helping direct to farmer to get your data organized, get you ready for 45Z, but also working with ethanol plants, working on their behalf to help their farmers collect all this data and undergo these ISO audits. So really, really coming to fruition here. Again, we need some of those final details, but looking really, really good. Now, a couple other details that I know are really pertinent. The manure piece. I know that in the updated USDA calculator, manure was part of it, just from some of the insights that I've got, and in the Department of Energy model, manure is a part of it. So, I mean, if you're ignoring manure, there's a huge issue. Number one, it's massively important throughout the row crop space. So, seems like manure is trending in the right direction. We know yield is going to be in there. Of course, cover crop, no-till, reduced-till, and nutrient management efforts. The IRS specifically named those 4: cover crop, no-till, reduced-till, and improved nutrient management. So we know that there's some of those components that will also be in there. It's just, again, the details. I did get asked about our personal use of biologicals and the prevalence of biologicals. And I think it's fine to give a little, an extra CI point or something like that for the use of biologicals or stabilizers or whatever. That's fine if they want to do that. Like, we'll take whatever we can get. But I do just worry that what constitutes as a biological, right? Is that a living microbial product? Is that a biostimulant? Is that a carbon-based product, a humic? Like, where does biological start and stop? So when they start, putting in some of these newer items like that may not be clear enough defined, that worries me a little. And then what also worries me is then when you do define it, does that box end up being a little bit too small and stifle innovation, right? For farmers that are, creating their own biologicals through compost teas or something like that. Like, if you have to be on a list and you're doing your own thing, or you're a new company or whatever, that could be a problem. That only the big players with deep pockets can get on the list, and all these other innovations may be left off the list. So that's part of my concerns when it comes to how defined should some of these parameters be. But We also talked about how to define the different tillage practices, right, or different buckets that tillage would fall into, meaning strict no-till, reduced till, conventional till. Like, how do you define what is reduced till and which one, and where's the cutoff? And then, is vertical till no-till, or is that reduced till? Is strip till no-till or reduced till? I have my personal opinions on where those things fit, but what if you are, vertical tilling and putting on the cover crop at the same time, which is what we do on our farm. We have a vertical till system with a Montag 2208, so we can put on the cover crop and apply the cover crop with our vertical till machine. Is that tillage? In our mind, no. It's the cover crop application, but what's going to be the definition? So it's those particulars that are still, being worked on and still in flux. But to kind of put a bow on this, DOE should be able to update the calculator and just push it live without any review, without much notice. Like, they're just going to push it live. The USDA rule, it has to undergo White House review through the Office of Management and Budget, just like the 45Z rule did from the IRS. This USDA rule has to go through the review, and that's public. When the notice that's going through the review is public, so we will watch this very, very closely. But in order for the rule to be out by planting time, it's going to have to start the review process very soon, which is great. And definitely got the indication, or the clarity in the meeting that, this rule is extremely close, going through some of the final pieces of review at USDA, and just about ready to get sent over to the White House. So it's great. We really appreciate the folks at USDA that have continued to work on this. USDA really stepped up to the plate on behalf of farmers to make sure that we got a seat at the table in this program, and without them, we would have been left behind. So it's a huge, huge deal that USDA stepped up to the plate to get this done. And Biden USDA really started the process here. Now Trump USDA getting it across the finish line, and I was sharing numbers and sharing the interest and just advocating for all of us on here, and they understood that. They understand how big of a deal this is, and how important it is for the ag and biofuels communities, which was great. So they definitely get it. They're definitely hearing us. Our feedback is really important, and we got to stay really actively engaged in this. So some of those things being, if you want to reach out to your elected officials to say, hey, we know that 45Z is making progress and USDA is working on it, but elected official, congressperson or senators, hey, 45Z is important. Can you keep nudging the folks over in the executive branch to get this thing done? And when I was in D.C., I met with Congresswoman Marinette Miller-Meeks, who is my rep here in Southeast Iowa, and I met with Senator Joni Ernst, and advocated to both of them direct, and they were very much aware of the status of 45Z, very much aware of the importance of it, which was awesome, and they were very much on top of continuing to push on the administration, so much that Joni Ernst and other senators already had a letter drafted up to send over to encourage them to get this thing done, which is awesome. So they very much are aware, very much pushing to get this stuff done, and good progress is being made. But again, to put a bow on that, we know it's going to take data. If you're already delivering into biofuels, it is go time. So getting your data into topsoil, being ready for those third-party audits. If your ethanol plant wants to have a conversation, I'm going to be at the National Ethanol Conference down in Florida next week, advocating for all of us. I've been very involved in those biofuel trade organizations, just building those connections, building those relationships, and working deals, of course, too, to get farmers a seat at the table. Those ethanol plants can use our software. Now, obviously, in our software, the farmer owns their data. and we don't share the data with the ethanol plants without the farmer's written permission to do so. Like, the farmers own their data. So that's the deal with working with our software, Topsoil, is, hey, we'll help you get all the farmers that you need, all the CI certificates you need. We'll have it verified with a bow on it and everything, and do it in a very cost-effective manner for the value that's created. And but the farmers are gonna, know what's happening with their data, and it's not just gonna be, we don't share farmer data. That's just the way it is. We share aggregated data or insights, like the average CI score is 11.5. We can share those things, but never any identifiable information or specific farmer data. So, but anyway, if your ethanol plant is trying to figure out 45Z, they're trying to, now we know that the farmers have a seat at the table. Those conversations are really ramping up, that we can help them get all this farmer data pulled through, and it takes volume. So we got to get that ramped up now. Last couple other things. It's the last push to get your research and development tax credits, because we got to get the reports all done so you can get your taxes filed for 2025 taxes. So R&D credits have been tremendous. We have created millions of dollars in tax credits for farmers here. It's just been awesome. Like, I didn't know how big of an opportunity this was going to be when we really started hitting on it a couple months ago, and it just continues to be such a cool deal. That, again, Continuum has been using R&D tax credits for years, but I didn't know I didn't know that they could apply to farmers. Now knowing that and helping farmers get those R&D credits, it has been really, really awesome. So getting tax credits, federal tax credits, dollar for dollar tax credits back for some of your innovative efforts. So if you haven't been connected with our partners that do the research and development tax credits, send me an email or contact our sales guys. You can contact sales@continuum.ag, and they'll get you connected. We connect you over there for free, and just trying to provide as much value as we can while we're waiting for 45Z to come through. So that's those R&D credits have been really huge. Shoot, there was something else I was thinking that I wanted to hit on. I think it's just those R&D credits, getting that done while we're thinking about taxes here in the off season, and then for 45Z, absolutely our 2025 crop is going to be at play. We got to start doing all the data collection and documentation for the 2026 crop as well. So be thinking about that, just keeping good records, being ready to document all your 2026 stuff. So take pictures as much as you can, but more importantly than that, shape files or machine data from your tractor, from the combine monitor. Those monitor files are the best. Receipts, seed receipt, fertilizer, cover crop receipts are really important. Photos, if you don't have some of those things, like for manure application, for example, that may be a little tougher, or for your tillage practice or proving no-till. Take a picture just with your cell phone. That's on your phone. It's geotagged and time stamped, but just take a picture of each field. Just any of that evidence that you have is going to be really important to undergo these audits in as smooth of a manner as possible. And basically right now, a lot of our farmers are just starting with our Topsoil Connect program, since we don't know exactly, like, you can wait on the full audits and everything. We call that CI certification. But a lot of folks ramping up on, we know that the data is going to be important. We know that Continuum is going to get crazy busy when these final details come live. And getting your data organized and getting that started now while things are relatively slow on the farm. Great time to, especially for that 2025 crop, getting all that data pulled through. Perfect time to do that. Now, the IRS rule from 2 weeks ago even said that 2025 fuel could utilize this new feedstock calculator, which means 2024 crop. So if you want to start on 2024 crop, by all means, but at least at the 2025 crop for certain. But it looks like 2024 crop is also going to have a seat at the table, which would be just awesome. And especially 2024 crop, there's going to be not that many farmers that are able to get those CI certificates all the way across the finish line. So hopefully there's a bigger opportunity for those who do have the data, and because they're in position. There's not going to be that many 2024 CI certificates to meet the demand. And as this program progresses, of course, you're going to have more supply of certificates, steady demand, and the economics will play themselves out. It's simple economics. So, yeah, other than that, we'll keep everybody posted as soon as we hear anything else. But yeah, if your ethanol plant is wanting to have a conversation, I'm all for it. Just helping them to collect this data. We got to get that farmer data set up. We're ready to rock and roll. We know that we're on the right track to do it. We know these audits are, the IRS said that the audits are going to be required. We just got to get the final details about how much of an opportunity do farmers have to lower CI scores. How much value do our practices get, and exactly how do our practices get linked into those supply chains. So it's all getting sorted out. We're pushing hard. Last couple things, I guess. A lot of conversation actually about Farm Bill and stuff. And I saw something about there's some draft or outline or something like that went live over the weekend. So that I haven't looked super deep into it, trying to pick and choose my battles, but I was amazed that there was even positive talk about a farm bill this year, which is wild. A lot of talk about marine fuel. So there's been tons of push on ethanol going into sustainable aviation fuel, but ethanol or soy-based products going into marine fuel is a huge opportunity. And there's actually some Marinette Miller Meeks has a bill that could enable some of that. There was a lot of chatter about marine fuel. I think that could be a huge opportunity. So anyway, just a lot of good stuff. It was a very encouraging trip. They had a bunch of snow out there, which was, I think of going to D.C. and being a little further south than here in Iowa. But shoot, it was just as cold there, if not colder. And they had 5 inches of snow, and we got none here. So, but it was good. Always a good time to be out there. It's an interesting town, but it's fun. It's fun to be out there and really make the most of the trips when I am out there. So, all right. Well, with that, we'll see you all next Tuesday back here on the Chit Chat. Good things going on. We're going to keep on pushing here. So appreciate you all, and have a great week. Oh, sorry, we got one. Joel, hey buddy. Local ethanol plant got bought by Green Plains. Is that good or bad for my prospects to cash in on 45Z? Joel, good question. Green Plains is publicly traded, so there's going to be more openness there. Green Plains is very much involved in 45Z already. Green Plains, most of their stuff is out in Nebraska, and they are connected with the pipeline out there. Very involved in 45Z. They are already monetizing credits. They are very much aware of this, so I actually think it's probably a very good thing. I think it's going to be good, but ultimately, it's have a conversation with them, saying, hey, sounds like, we're waiting for the details, so there's no money moving yet, but hey, I got low CI crop. I can get it verified. Buddies with these guys over at Continuum. What are you guys doing for data collection? Have you considered, working with Continuum and their topsoil tool that can not only collect all the data, but also have it all third-party verified for you, so we know that it's risk-free, and kind of handed to them on a silver platter. So, and if they're like, no, we're already working with this other company, that's fine. We can basically help recruit, push the data over to them. It's redundant, but it's fine. If they need some help with that data collection and the audits, we're ready to rock and roll, and would love to partner with them. So, but no, definitely a good move. Good move overall. And for Joel is down in Kentucky. The updated Department of Energy calculator solved the issue that we had in the old calculator of county by county issues. There were some counties in the country that did not have a soil organic carbon component to it. So cover crops, no-till didn't give any credit. Well, in the updated calculator, now any county in the continental U.S. can get an accurate CI score for corn, soybeans, canola, winter wheat, spring wheat. Really, really looking good. Really, really looking good. So huge. That was a big deal up in, that was a big deal throughout Kentucky. It was a big deal down south. It was a big deal up in North Dakota. And that got solved. Again, we're waiting for this updated 45Z specific feedstock calculator. But things are going in a good direction. So exciting stuff. But anyway, we'll keep y'all posted. Again, thanks for hopping on. We'll catch you next week.